I can't find anybody that knows anything about where she might be.
You have a very attractive female who has disappeared.
Time felt like it was standing still. I was in a panic.
Murder always was in the back of our head.
It's all not adding up to me. She would never just peace out on her children.
We don't have a scene. We don't have a body. We don't have any evidence.
I came back home and we got to a fight. A little bit later, she was gone.
We both know Michelle did not walk out of that apartment.
Michelle Warner is my daughter. From the earliest that I can remember, Michelle wanted to be an attorney.
She has an amazing soul.
She's real bubbly and outgoing and fun to be around.
She's the greatest mom ever to Haley and Caden. Haley's dad is her ex-husband. They have an amicable relationship. Caden's father was Mark. Mark and Michelle never married. When Caden was born, Mark was there, but he disappeared from 3 months to about 3 years. That he really, literally was not in Caden's life. Once Mark came back into the picture, Michelle was glad that Caden's father was around because her family is so important to her.
With Michelle Warner's case, she went missing on Saturday. She was reported on Monday from her coworkers. Her family members re-reported her on Tuesday, and we got the case on Tuesday.
So it's all not adding up to me. Michelle would always get in contact. She would never just peace out on her children.
Because that just wouldn't happen. I mean, ever.
Michelle is the oldest of my two. David is her brother. Once we heard Michelle is missing, David called people who he knew should have had some contact with Michelle. He had even called Mark, Caden's father.
Why did her job call you?
He put me down as the emergency contact.
And what did you tell them?
I told her that she didn't come home.
Every lead that I have to Michelle, and I can't find a fucking thing, anybody that knows anything about where she might be. And you're the last person I know of that's actually seen her.
Yeah, I am.
Mark and Michelle met in early 2008. I first knew of Mark in her life as this IT guy at work. The relationship grew. 3-4 months later, she was pregnant with Caden. And they had gone into more of a boyfriend-girlfriend type relationship, but it didn't work out.
Michelle had finally landed this great paralegal job in Houston. Mark had previously been living in Odessa and hadn't been in Caden's life, and then he moved to Houston. So her and Mark decided to move in together in a roommate situation.
She just wanted a little bit of help, and he was going to take more of an active role in watching Caden.
We really can't assume anything until we find out more facts on the case and do a lot more interviews. On my list was Mark and Scott, who is a boyfriend of Michelle.
Scott and Michelle were very close. Mark was jealous of him.
On Tuesday, I called, left a message for Mark. And when Mark actually called back on Wednesday, he just started telling me a lot of things.
She and I were not together romantically, physically, friends. We're not even friends. We just tolerate each other for the best of Caden. I came back home, and we got to a fight. She goes back into her room and shuts the door. The master bedroom, that's her bedroom, has a back door that goes to the parking area. And a little bit later, I go in there to confirm. she was gone. And
was this on Friday or Saturday?
This is all on Saturday.
Okay.
This is all on Saturday.
Mark, where are you now?
I came home to Odessa, Texas. I'm with my family. I call my parents, and I'm like, I need help with Katie because she has a history of leaving and not coming back. I went there and came back twice.
Well, we're going to have to speak to you in person. Are you going to be able to make it back to Houston?
I can come up this weekend or something.
Yes, please. Where do you think Michelle is at now?
She's a drug user. She's somewhere, all strung out, and when she decides to finally talk to somebody, she will.
We found that Michelle was arrested before. She has been into drugs. Sometimes when people relapse, they may be gone for several days. Maybe a drug dealer, she went to buy drugs and somebody killed her in that manner or kept her.
When she divorced her husband, she started on a downhill spiral of depression. Michelle began with prescription medication, legally prescribed, and as she lost her health insurance, she started buying illegal drugs, and she was arrested for cocaine possession.
Her drug use led to her losing custody of Haley, which that's the worst thing that could have ever happened to her.
At that point, we didn't have Caden. After Michelle completed the rehab program, her main priorities were her career and Haley. She has been clean for 8 years, so we really didn't have a reason to be overly concerned that she had drifted back into that lifestyle, and we hadn't seen any recent signs that she had.
Mark told the police that she took off to do drugs. We weren't quite sure why. They were just taking his word for it. I mean, I was upset. Here, Michelle's missing. No one's heard from her. So I decided to get the media involved to put pressure on the police.
When Michelle Warner mysteriously vanished last week, her family and friends became highly suspicious. Loved ones say her disappearance is not really like her at all.
We love her. She's a huge part of our family, and we want her back. We want to bring her home.
When we feel that, hey, it's a high-profile case, we do get homicide involved because they are a bigger department.
You have a very attractive female who has disappeared under strange circumstances. These are the types of cases that the national media will pick up.
The more time ticked by with no word at all from Michelle, she was, from all indications, a good mom. Our concern was, if she did slip, why wouldn't she now at least reach out? And that was the one thing that bothered us, and that's why murder always was in the back of our head.
That's what leads us on that Thursday, the 27th, to go to Michelle's apartment.
We were met by media, and we were met by numerous friends and some family members. They were very accusatory of Mark.
All the family and friends thought that Mark had done something to Michelle. They always kind of had an explosive relationship.
We couldn't keep our blinders on and just say Mark. We certainly had to look at other possibilities.
Knowing that Scott Russell had a relationship with her, it is important that we look at Scott Russell. Other than Mark, Scott is actually the last person that sees Michelle.
According to her family, Michelle Warner mysteriously vanished nearly a week ago. Michelle had started a new job as a paralegal and had high hopes for the future. Loved ones say she would never leave her 11-year-old daughter and her 3-year-old son.
As part of the investigation, one of the things we like to do is try to piece together that person's life.
So Michelle has a variety of relationships with people. One of those being Scott Russell, who is an on-again, off-again boyfriend. Other than Mark, Scott is actually the last person that sees Michelle.
I was able to speak to Scott. He said that the Friday before, he and Michelle had gone on a date, and then they had gone over back to the house, and he said he left like right around 9:30, 10 o'clock, and she was fine. It's still an early investigation. I'll try to verify what he said.
We had gone to the apartment.
And we really stared at a note to Michelle from Mark.
Completely divorces himself of any relationship with Michelle. He's got Caden. You're not getting him back.
He does not use very nice language towards her in this note. He's not looking like he's very concerned. Where are you?
Either this guy didn't have anything to do with Michelle leaving and is missing, or he's one clever SOB. And he puts this up here to throw us off, because if he's done anything bad to her, this is not what you would think you would find. We're searching the bedroom, and Brian opens the door to the closets. And I get the strangest feeling, hair standing up on the back of my neck, heebie-jeebies, whatever you want to call it. Just a very odd sense of something that happened here. But we don't find anything that is retrievable in terms of evidence. No blood stains, nothing that would indicate anything happened other than Michelle leaving. Michelle's missing person case was all over the nation. Michelle's family are really, really castigating Mark. It is all over the media. We did not want their messaging getting to Mark in Odessa and he getting upset and saying, hey, you know what? If that's what they think, I'm not talking to the police. I make a tactical decision to contact Mark Castellano directly and confirm with him that he is returning to Houston for this interview on Sunday, and that I would like to be the one to speak with him. Now, my conversation with him is consistent with the conversations he had with David and with Danny. He wants to talk.
An early Sunday morning, we do an interview with Mark Castellano.
And I will be right back. All right. I'm going to, what we're essentially going to do is take a statement.
Okay. Once somebody has established a relationship, you're going to use that in the interview room. When he called and spoke to Mark, that simple phone call established Phil's authority. It was a no-brainer. Phil was going to be the guy in the interview room.
My calling was law enforcement. Did a lot of undercover work, which was a ball. Those were the days of Miami Vice. It was also Vanilla Ice days. I really looked good. But it's a young man's game, so I left the sheriff's office and came to the Houston Police Department. I have spent the last almost 23 years of my career in homicide. I don't start an investigation seeking to determine guilt or innocence, because that's not my job. My job is to seek the truth.
The box is where it all happens. We have the gray foam to absorb the sound. There's a table in the corner of the room, and then a chair with 4 solid legs about 18 inches away from the end of that table. If we allowed him to be at that table, he can use that table as a security blanket.
You're not under arrest.
Right.
You're not in custody. You're free to leave. So just want to make sure we're clear on that. Again,
you want to build them up. You want to reduce their anxiety. And then we begin to further our relationship.
Again, I appreciate you coming in. And
yes, sir.
And because it's, the whole point of all of this is to find Michelle.
Right. Yes, sir. Hopefully.
Okay.
Mark slides his chair and moves it towards the end of the table.
That indicates to me that he's making himself comfortable. Kind of shows he's relaxed about all this. First thing I do is instruct him to move his chair back where I want it.
You'll just keep your chair turned.
Okay.
Like we had it there.
Okay.
Okay.
And there's a couple of reasons for that. Number one, I want him to know you're in my house and I'm in control of this interview. And the second thing is I wanted to gauge his response to my request. He's almost apologetic for having moved the chair.
I can imagine that you are probably getting tired of telling this story over and over and over again. But I would kind of like to start when you first met Michelle, because I know there's a lot of history there.
Right.
And then we'll kind of walk.
We don't have a scene. We don't have a body. We don't have any evidence. We've got nothing. I'm going to get to the truth in this conversation.
What happened to this beautiful young woman, mother of two? It's a breaking news story.
When Michelle was missing, I spent a bunch of that time looking at pictures and saying, "Where are you, Michelle?" Time felt like it was standing still. I was in a panic.
Search crews plan on canvassing the complex and passing out flyers in the area. The goal to locate the mother.
Mark's done something to her. I know he has. I just had a feeling like, I just knew it.
And if you know anything out there, please immediately contact law enforcement.
When we get into any of these investigations, it is as important to eliminate a suspect as it is to find the right person. Knowing that Scott Russell had a relationship with her, it is important that we look at Scott Russell. Now, Danny did most of the heavy lifting on the investigation into Scott Russell and his background.
I felt that he was honest. He loved her and really wanted to know where Michelle was.
We don't see anything really that is going to lead us to keep Scott on the board as a suspect.
Are you still in love with her, and you just don't like her, or how is that kind of manifesting?
I tolerate her. I don't love her. I'm not in love with her. I mean, I don't want anything to happen. I wish Michelle would pop up right now.
Yeah,
hey,
yeah.
I need here.
Okay.
He's giving me the Mark Castellano version of how horrible Michelle was.
She kind of been on me about the amount of money I was making. This last month, while she told me that me and my family were the sack of crap, the more she's not around, the less she calls me, the happier I am.
Okay. I let him talk for 2 hours, over 2 hours. Mark's got the story down. He's got the established set of facts that he's going to try to convince everyone this is what happened, which is indicating to me he's done something to Michelle.
When she gets mad, she's violent. She'll hit you. She thinks she has the right to. The way she'll sit there and tell you the way she's raised, man has to take up crap. She's a pretty girl and she gets everything she wants. She has a princess attitude.
Wow. All roads are now leading to Mark. Without Mark saying, I did it and that's where I took her, we've got nothing. It is a confession case.
Is she using any kind of drugs at that time that you're aware of? Has she introduced that into the relationship yet?
Adderall.
Which is treating her for what?
ADHD.
Okay.
And so hydrocodone, 10/325.
Mm-hmm.
And she, getting to know me, she said, well, you were in a car accident. You could go get some for me. It gets pretty bad for a great while. The pill demand work. I was starting to notice that I'm changing. She's having me do a lot of things, hey, we have an extra computer, take one from the company. I need one for my brother. Or hey, I need you to get me something like this.
So she's basically asking you to steal now?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And of course I do it.
Okay.
I did it.
Well, you're invested in this relationship,
right?
She
pretty much at this point owns me.
What Mark Castellano did with Phil is paint himself as the victim.
He's blaming Michelle for his bad acting to make himself look better.
Let's get to last Saturday, the 22nd.
Okay. As soon as I open the door, it's like a battle zone. And the first thing she says is, he gets into the sugar and dumps it everywhere. You left it somewhere, blah, blah, blah. And just goes on and on. I said something about, you take too many pills, you can't watch Caden or something. I said, and she's like, well, what are, you sorry, pussy. And she's like, and she just walked under. She's like, by the way, you better clean it up right. And at that time, she walked up to me and just hit me like that.
Now, are you standing? Where are you? What are you doing?
I'm like this. There's the desk right here. I'm on like this, picking up stuff.
Are you in the living room?
I'm in the living room. There's those two spots on that carpet.
Yeah, with the computer desk.
By the computer desk. There's that hallway, and right there by the leg, I'm over there reaching, picking up stuff, and by that time I turn, I see her come up, and then when she comes up close to me and I see her arm swing, I put my head like that, she hits me like that.
Up underneath you?
Yeah, like that. It wasn't hard or anything. I'm used to it at this point.
Sure.
And she walks out and slams the door to her room. And about Well, 10, 15 minutes later, I opened the door to say, well, you know what? And she's gone. Well,
Where's Caden when all this?
He's in his room hiding.
So you think that Michelle's been screaming at him, and that's why he goes in and reacts the way he does?
Because at one time I got her.
Did she curse at him?
Yes. She sat there and got in his face one time, and she's on here like this. I'll get on my knees.
Go ahead.
And he's sitting there and shaking his little hand, and she's sitting there grabbing him, and don't you ever, you're going to turn out to be a sorry piece of crap like your daddy, you sorry mother, little. And at that point I came over to her and I pushed her like that. She didn't. She caught herself, and I said, get up. Don't do that anymore.
Whether those things actually occurred, in his mind, they did. I have to play off of that to make him understand that I recognize that. Yeah. My heart goes out to you, man, because what you have put up with for 3 years of your little boy's life, I very much appreciate and understand your feelings about your son.
Right.
I have a son. He's 27 years old now. I was about your age when he was about 3.
Wow.
So I get it. The interviews that we do, we try to find something that we have in common so that we can establish that relationship further. We're both fathers. This is about Caden. This is about Caden. Mm-hmm. So, whatever did happen in the apartment between you and Michelle, that's resulted in her now disappearing. We use that word for lack of a better term.
Right.
It's my impression that what that was about, what that argument was about, what that confrontation was about last weekend, it wasn't about you wanting to hurt Michelle. It was about your love for Caden. And it was about your burden.
Right, yeah.
About protecting Caden.
Right, because he wasn't being taken care of.
Exactly.
Detective Waters, he masterfully uses the good choice, bad choice technique when he says, Mark, this isn't about hurting Michelle, the bad choice. This is about your love for Caden, the good choice.
Whatever happened between you and Michelle in the course of her cursing at you, slapping you in the face, hitting you while you're on your knees on the ground, picking up stuff that she has directed you to do, that was just the straw that broke the camel's back. And now Mark is in protective mode for Caden. This is not happening anymore. Michelle is not going to harm my son anymore, either emotionally or physically or verbally or in any way, shape, or form, and I am going to have to resolve the problem now. And that's exactly what you did. I was able to give him a perspective that what he did was right, and that gives him justification for what he did. This is the opportunity to talk about all those things, because you've told me. You've already told me. You've laid the groundwork for what happened in that apartment. And I'm on board with you. This isn't about trying to make Mark look like a bad guy. I'm telling you, I could not. I'm listening to your story, man, and I almost want to cry for you. I just can't imagine the stress and the pressure put on you because of the love you have for Caden when you watch this woman continually berate him and treat him so terribly, because she's doing the same thing to you that she's doing to a 3-year-old, and you're an adult. I give him that little bit of empathy, and he is agreeing with me. He is soaking this stuff in. So as we continue to talk along those lines and we share that part of the relationship, it's very easy to transition into what happened to Michelle and what's the truth. So I need you to explain to me. I need you to explain to me what happened. We both know. Michelle did not walk out of that apartment. She did not walk out of that apartment. We both know it.
We both know the circumstances under which whatever did happen, happened. I'm not wanting you to explain to me that you wanted to hurt Michelle. I want you to explain to me what you felt like you had to do to protect Kate. So I want you to be honest with me and tell me what happened.
When he took the glasses off, I'm just thinking to myself, I cannot wait to hear what he's about to say.
She got up, and I got up, and she's getting dressed, and she's finishing up, and she's still yelling, and Caden's hiding. I grabbed her and I broke her neck. She told me I was a sorry fucking pussy and that she was gonna control me the rest of my life. And I grabbed her by her neck and and just went threw her on the bed. And
so she's facing you?
Yeah, and I heard it pop, and then her tongue fucked up, it popped out, and that was it.
Okay.
I mean, I sit there and held it, and the time I realized what I did, she was dead.
When I've had a suspect who's just confessed to me about the most horrific act a human can commit on another, it tells me that I have fulfilled the calling that I believed I was meant for.
My son David received a call. I just remember seeing David's face go ashen white, and I remember him saying thank you with a really weak, cracking voice, and he got off the phone as quickly as he could, and he started crying, and I knew then. And I didn't know if I felt worse knowing that she was gone or how bad David felt, because this is my other child that's still alive, because his best friend is gone.
I got that call that he confessed. I was in the car and I literally had to stop driving. I just kind of broke down and immediately went to the thought of her babies and how he could do something so horrible to the mother of his child and then leave his son parentless.
I don't have anything where else. I didn't have anything else to do.
Look at me, my friend. Look at me.
I'm sorry. Give me the death penalty, that's fine.
Look.
I deserve it.
Mark, look, I'm proud of you.
My life is over with anyway.
Your life's not over with, Mark. Mark.
I'm saying to him, Mark, your life's not over. Well, yeah, it pretty much is, but I can't say that. I have to reassure him. I want to build him up and make him feel as though that what he's done is the right thing. Because now, I want to get the full confession from him.
It takes a real man to take responsibility of what he's done. And there's a big difference between accountability and responsibility. Okay? You're going to be held accountable. The system is going to hold you accountable. But only you can take responsibility. You've done that, and I'm proud of you. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
There's no need for me to do any more Jedi mind trick interview stuff on him. This is all out in the open now. So now we just need to get down to brass tacks. Here's what we need to accomplish now. I want to know what happened.
Where can you kind of draw me the apartment and then just kind of show me in the room where she was?
Like, here's the bed. Here's a closet. And here's that door going to outside.
Okay.
I walked in, and that's when I grabbed her, and then I threw her on the bed right there.
Okay.
And then after that, I covered her up, and before he left, I threw her in the closet.
he put Michelle in that closet. It took me back to that moment in that apartment when Brian opened that closet door. Michelle came out of that closet, delivered the message to me.
Here's what we need to do, Mark. I brought Brian in, and I know this is painful, but I wanted you to demonstrate for Brian what happened. That'd be all right?
It's through the demonstrations that they own it, that they own their actions, and you see the real Mark come out.
I push her and then grab her and then fall down on the fall.
I know you're not going to do it because I got my brother Phil here to help me out. All right.
And then I sit there.
And then what did she do?
Well, when she fell down, I heard that, and then her tongue stuck out, and I just
knew that wasn't good.
Knew that wasn't good.
Strangulation, most likely the most personal way to murder someone. You are right up there in their face. You are so angry. You are so consumed. Your only goal is to literally choke the life out of this person.
I'm going to go check on the plane.
Okay.
It is not what you see on television in terms of someone just confesses and then boom, they're off to jail. That is just not the way it works, not in real life. We'd already had this discussion with the district attorney's office. If he confesses, he's going to have to corroborate that confession by giving us the body. This entire time, he can get up and walk out of that room because he ain't under arrest. And he's not going to be under arrest until we recover Michelle.
Hey, Mom. Well, I confessed. I did it.
Mark requested to call his father. This is non-custodial still. He has not been charged with anything.
I confessed I killed her.
And the hope was that he would give more detail to lead us to Michelle.
I want to apologize for lying to you. I did kill her. It happened so quick. It happened so quick, Dad. I didn't know I was going to break her neck.
Then Mark goes on his I Killed Michelle tour. He starts calling everyone that he knows.
I just confessed to killing Michelle, and I wanted you to know that she's dead. I'm sorry for a lot of things that I'm fixing to tell you, but I did so quick. I broke her neck. Oh, just one of those big boxes that we used to move in. She actually fit. You know, she's gained a lot of weight.
Yeah, I killed her. She'd gained some weight. She's a little heavy. It was incredible.
It was a moment of rage. I couldn't take it anymore.
It was astounding to watch him stuff his face with this meatball sub and talk on the phone, talking about, I killed Michelle. Big old meatball in the mouth.
I always shouted out loud that I already killed that stupid bitch. I used to say it all the time, but when I came home, what did I do? I did everything she wanted me to do.
He's a narcissist. This is all about him. This wasn't necessarily about protecting Caden from Michelle. This was about ridding a problem for Mark.
We were now dealing with murder, and we did not want to present what Mark had said until we had evidence, the evidence of the body.
What time do you decide to start looking for a place to put her? You left with her Saturday night, right?
No, Sunday morning. I didn't take her the first time.
Okay, that makes sense. So she's in the closet. That's why you came back.
There were surveillance cameras on an office building directly across from Mark and Michelle's apartment. September 24th, which is going to be Sunday night, Monday morning, we see Mark Castellano moving stuff out of the apartment.
I put a plastic bag over her face because I could see her looking at her eyes. Find that tub that we were moving stuff in out of one of the closets. Put her in there
And you were able to carry it, or?
Oh hell no! She just slid down the stairs. I couldn't pick it. I had a hard time putting her in the car.
Now we see him dragging what appears to be a large container of some kind down the steps of the apartment. So we were able to confirm his story.
The second time you go to Odessa is when she's in the car.
Mm-hmm.
All right. How long was she in the car?
For about a day, I guess.
So do you actually go to your parents' house with her in the back seat?
Mm-hmm.
Mark killed Michelle, drove her 7 hours, let her rot in a car while sitting in his parents' driveway, and this is his son's mother.
This entire time, he's not under arrest. In order to even charge Mark Castellano, we're going to have the body that goes with the confession.
Draw to the best of your ability where you, and then I'll try to pull it up on Google Maps, okay?
520.
We know that he took the body of Michelle to Odessa. We asked Mark to draw a map. 7 to 9 miles down Midkiff, M-I-D-K-I-F-F.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This map was very detailed. We were able to take our cell phone, take a picture of it, and send it to the FBI evidence team in the Midland and Odessa police departments and sheriff's office. And they started the search for Michelle out in the oil fields.
We searched and we walked, and we weren't successful. So I called in Mounted Patrol, which is who we have that come out on their horses, and then I called the DPS helicopter to come out and see if they could see anything from the sky. We knew that if we didn't find the body, it was going to make their case extremely hard. It's very rare you get a conviction in court without somebody finding the body. I was really hoping we'd find it fast, but we didn't.
I worried a lot that Michelle's body would not ever be found. It matters to me. It matters to me to know.
It was around 6:35 p.m. We'd been out there searching for approximately 4 hours. I walked out into the field and I decided I'm going to give it one last shot. So I walked along the wind, so it was blowing off to my left. And at one point I caught a scent, and it's a scent that you just can't forget. It's a decomposed body of some type. And I walked that line, and I'm telling you, I walked right up to the body. It had been partially buried. There was just a little bit of dirt on top. It was not a good sight. He dumped her body like she was a piece of trash.
I remember the FBI agent saying, "We found her."
And it's at that point that Detective Waters put Mark Castellano under arrest for the murder of Michelle Warner.
So the trial, Mark's defense is sudden passion, it was an accident.
As a result of the evidence recovered, but more importantly, the confession of Mark Castellano to Detective Waters, Mark was convicted of murder.
And the prosecution was asking for life.
And he received what I thought was a very light sentence of 27 years.
I do not know what was in the jury's mind when they came back with that sentence.
Everyone just got angry, and it was just insulting.
In about another decade, he'll come up for his first parole hearing. Caden is still going to be a young man, because Caden is 8 now. Haley's dad has custody of Haley, and my ex-husband and his wife are doing a great job with Caden.
27 years for taking away somebody from everybody. Caden's not even gonna know who his mama is.
It was disturbing to me when the judge announced the sentence And Mark Castellano looked at the jury and mouthed the words, "Thank you."
He definitely didn't get what he deserved. He took away a good, honest, fun-loving person. She was an incredible mother. She loved her family. She loved her friends. She just loved life.
She had beauty, intelligence, personality, and talent. She was one of those people that you just wanted to be around. The biggest thing that I miss about Michelle is that bright smile.